Hello, welcome to TisTalk.
TisTalk is a community podcast from Tisbury, Wiltshire and surrounding villages. Hello, it's Monday the 13th of April. I'm Mary Myers. We've got a great show for you today here on TisTalk. Firstly, we have Christabel and family. Christabel Watts arrived with her husband and young son Wilf back in October here in Tisbury, and she's joined TisTalk and she does the What's On, so you'll be hearing from her later. And they tell us how they're settling in and what they like about Tisbury and why they chose our lovely village in the first place. After that, we have St John's School kids, and Anne Martin went to find out how they responded to Starfest. And they're very sweet. Just listen out to who they think should go up in a rocket. It's very funny. Then we have Maryon-Davis, who tells me about a new chapter she's written in a book about the local railway and about the people then and now who helped establish the local station and the rail line that runs through Tisbury. After that, we have Rebecca Seymour, who is from Celebrating Age Wiltshire, and she tells us about a new initiative that's happening up at the Nadder Centre starting on the 15th of April, so that's this Wednesday, for anyone over 65 who may be interested in Creative Conversations, which is a creative project for anyone to join in on, and it's free. Then we have the What's Ons with Christabel, and we finish with Hannah Good, reading a poem which is a response to her poem she read a couple of weeks ago on TisTalk, which she just calls John's poem. So do listen through to the end for that lovely poem. But first, we start with Christabel and family. I'm with Christabel Watts and David Copus, and they are new to Tisbury. Thanks for coming on TisTalk.
Thank you for having us.
And when did you arrive, Christabel?
We moved here on the 10th of October, and we chose Tisbury because we were looking for somewhere greener, leafier, but with a good sense of community. We were moving away from Southampton and we wanted somewhere with better air quality, but a train station, and Tisbury ticked all the boxes. And you knew the area a bit, didn't you?
Yeah, so my mum has lived in Fotham for something like 25 years. Yes, I think the fact that Tisbury has a train station was quite amazing and quite a big thing for us, because it feels such a lovely place to live, but it also feels so connected, which is remarkable.
And you've got a little boy. How old is he?
He's three and a bit.
What's his name?
His name's Wilf. So he's going to the preschool up at the Nadder Centre. And we have found it really welcoming. Yeah, he's really loved settling into Tisbury and the playgrounds and all the activities at the Nadder Centre and the library, and the Methodist Church does lots of great things for preschool children. So we've really settled it. Yeah, we moved to Tisbury because we knew there was a lot going on and that's what we wanted, but we have been pleasantly surprised by how much more there is going on than we expected, and it just keeps new things popping up, like the bookshop opening with a really lovely children's area, or Messams are starting drawing classes for children. More than we could have expected, really.
Yeah, so I think we've been here a couple of weeks, and we walked cut across the water meadows down to Messams. I was just completely blown away. I think art is so important. It's human expression, and so to have a gallery like that on our doorstep just feels greedy and unfair to other people, really.
What do you do as a day job, David?
So as a day job, I am currently working as a software engineer. And I'm in the process of re-establishing a psychotherapy practice, which is something I did and trained at many years ago. So I work 4 days a week at that, and I go into Romsey for 1 day a week. Yeah.
And Christabel, do you earn a living apart from working hard with Wilf?
So at the moment I'm a full-time mum, but with Wilf building up his hours at preschool, I'm looking to get back into work. And before having Wilf, I was a project manager for an environmental charity, and specialising in energy efficiency and fuel poverty, air quality and sustainability advice. So I have lots of experience of setting up environmental type projects and managing them and outreach and working with the community, and similar work to what the Warmer at Home scheme is with the Nadder Community Energy. So the Nadder Community Energy Warmer at Home scheme is exactly the sort of thing that I used to work in. So I've been helping a little bit with promoting it amongst the mum and parent network in Tisbury, and they're actually going to do a survey for us so that I can share more about what it involves. And we've been along to the Young Nature Watch part of the Natural History Society doing an otter survey on the River Wylye, and yeah, so I'm definitely keen to get involved in environmental issues, and the green drinks is a really fun, sociable way of meeting new people when you're coming to a new town. So yeah.
David, you mentioned doing music around here. What are you involved with?
Yes, so I don't play much nowadays, but I play in a Baroque trio sonata group. We rehearse in Fovant, and we did actually do the opening concert in Fovant of the recent Salisbury Music Baroque Festival.
Oh. And what do you play?
Baroque cello.
Cello.
Yeah, and I've started singing a little bit in the church choir as well, which is amazing because I haven't done that since I was 18.
Yeah, is that fun?
It's brilliant fun. It's brilliant fun because it's like all things in Tisbury. It's like I'm amazed at the talent around it. It really is. It's amazing.
Sounds as though you're both getting really stuck into Tisbury life. So welcome to Tisbury, and let's hope that you do more and we hear more about all your activities.
Thank you.
Next, Anne Martin meets some of the children at St John's School.
I'm in St John's School in Tisbury today talking to 5 students about their experiences at Starfest last week. So, Thea, can you tell us about what you did at Starfest?
We went in this big dome, which was called a planetarium, and if you didn't go in it quick enough, it was like the whole tent would deflate.
Oh, right, yes, I went in too. You had to run in quickly, didn't you, through a zip? And when you got into the tent, what happened?
It switched from daytime to nighttime, and we saw loads of constellations.
Oh, right, yes.
It was very black.
It was very black, it was dark. Well, a bit like the
Quite
night...
hard to see our fellow students.
It's meant to be a bit like the night sky.
When he zoomed in to see a planet, it hurt our eyes.
Did it? Oh, right.
Yeah.
Did he tell you about the planets?
Yes. The planet was Jupiter.
The planet was Jupiter. Yeah, good. What did you see, Leah?
In the planet, I saw loads of stars and like different constellations that the stars made, and the different galaxies in the planetarium that they could zoom in.
And you've got a star named after you, haven't you?
Yeah.
What's your name?
Leo.
And what does your star look like?
It kind of looks like a car with a mouse. It looks like a mouse.
Oh, right.
It looks like a mouse.
Right. And did you learn about why we're having Starfest?
Yes.
Yes.
Because we need to know the importance of, because it's so interesting that we're living in a dark sky resort, so that means that all the street lights are shining down, so you can't, and there's very few of them, so that the night sky doesn't get lit up like some busy cities do.
And we learnt that it's really important to protect our night skies, because some children that live in London, they don't get to see the stars, and it's really special to be able to see the stars and all the constellations and learn about them.
That's right. And what else? Is there something about wildlife?
Oh yeah.
Yes?
If you use a red torch, it will help the wildlife to come out, because some foxes are coming out in the daytime because they think at night time there's so many lights, it's daytime, so they go back to sleep, and then they come out in actual daytime to get their food.
But are there some animals that come out only at night time?
We also learned about that there's reducing insect populations, because lots of insects need light and things than stars, so we haven't got as much insects.
Yes.
After lunch, we went into Victoria Hall, No, not Victoria Hall. The Methodist Church, and we got to wear our headsets, and we got to blast off in a rocket. But unfortunately, I screamed halfway through.
Oh, you blasted off in a rocket.
There was no floor.
In the VAR, we went out in space and we saw the ISS, which is the International Space Station.
Did you? How did you feel about that? Was that exciting? Yeah.
It was an amazing experience just to be able to look at our Earth, and when we were about to blast off in our rocket, we got to look at the control stations that they monitor the rocket. So we got to look into that.
It was also really interesting to look down on Earth, and there was loads of lights everywhere, and there's only small patches of darkness.
Oh,
It's very sad.
And you could sort of tell where Tisbury was, could you? Because it was a patch of darkness.
When I got off the VR headset, I felt like I couldn't even move my legs.
You couldn't move your legs. Yeah.
We felt like because you were sat down, you looked like turning around, and I felt like I was going to fall off my chair, because if you stood up, you would be like, you're going to fall over.
Oh, God.
Yeah, before we started, they said, just whatever you do, don't stand up, because your legs would have just gone to jelly. But the reason I screamed was because I looked down and there was no floor, which was really kind of cool.
That's incredible. Would you like to go up in a spaceship for real?
I would never want to go to space, guys. I find it too scary that this one little fault could take down a whole space station.
Yeah.
And
Alex.
kill everybody.
I'll probably never go to space because I'm scared of heights.
Oh, anybody else? Girls, would you like to go up in a spacecraft?
I don't want to risk my life for that amazing experience, but it was pretty cool to be able to just be sat on a chair, to be able to just look down and think that's actually where we live.
Gosh.
From some people, when they're in the International Space Station, that's their view.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind if I went to space. The only thing I would find bad is how far it is to get to your planet. If I went to Jupiter, I'd probably be dead.
True.
I wouldn't want to go to space, but I kind of would for seeing all the planets and the stars and constellations, but not just for fun. I don't really want to go up.
Yeah.
I'd rather go to space when I'm really old. So if I die in space, it'll be fine, because down in space I might die in a few years' time.
Well, that's one way of thinking about it, but I think they probably don't send older people up because not fit enough.
We've been learning we learned lots of things at school as well in our science, because we're doing space there, but we got to find out lots of interesting facts, like there's probably other solar systems out there and other galaxies, like we live in the Milky Way galaxy, but there's actually probably other planets that might have life on them, which is really cool.
I found it fascinating when we asked someone from the Starfest a question about what the biggest star has been seen, and they said if that star was our sun, it would stretch all the way to Jupiter.
And we also learnt that aliens actually doesn't mean a green human blob, but it could be any form of life. Anywhere that's not a human being, because that's what we call it.
When the Year 4s went on residential, we made the solar system out of tennis balls, marbles, beads, footballs, basketballs.
Oh.
And also when the Year 4s were on residential, we made our sundials.
To tell the time?
Yeah, to tell the time. So we used some chalk and used the shadows to tell the time.
Right. Anybody else?
Another thing I really enjoyed about Starfest was we got to go to storytelling, and the lady, I think she was called Lizzie, told us stories about how the stars came to the sky, and about lots of Greek stories, and I really enjoyed that.
That's
They
great.
were really interesting.
Yeah, you liked the stories,
the
did you?
stories,
yeah.
Yes.
Some of the stories that we learnt were about Medusa's head and how I can't remember, Perseus managed to save his mum with Medusa's head, and we also learnt how the bears constellations got in the sky, so they were hunted by humans, and
they went to the bears went to the gods and said, can you stop this? And then they just grabbed them and threw them up into the sky because it was the safest place for them.
And because back then the gods' way to fix things, if something was going, they just thought throw them up into the sky, and that's how the constellation of the bear has got a long tail, because when they threw it, they stretched it, so that's how they thought how to solve problems.
The Medusa's head in the Perseus constellation, her eye's called the demon eye because it always goes a bit bright and then goes really dim.
Oh, wow.
Very creepy. I found one story interesting. It's based on China, I am Chinese.
Oh, great. That's absolutely fantastic.
You can find all our episodes on tistalk.co.uk.
Next, I went to meet Anne Maryon-Davis, an active member of Tisbury's History Society, who's just published a chapter about Tisbury's railway line in a book called Celebrating Railway 200. So tell us about the chapter you've written, Anne.
Well, I've written chapter 4, which deals with Tisbury, and I should say that the anniversary, the 200 anniversary, was really 200 since the first passenger train from Darlington, or Shildon actually, Darlington to Stockton. And this was the Blackmore Vale's contribution to those anniversary celebrations.
Oh, of course.
But the Tisbury, our line, didn't come along in 1825. We didn't have our station until 1859.
Okay.
So it was some years later. There was already a line to the west, Great Western Railway, but there was nothing going along the southern route. And so people were still trundling down to Exeter on, by coach, stagecoaches and
stopping
horses
in
and so
Hindon.
on. Yes, indeed. And Tisbury was not on that, was not on a coaching route at all. So it was a very cut-off little place.
But the railway put us on the map.
Well, I suppose in a way it did. But funnily enough, the population at that time was of Tisbury and West Tisbury was not very different to what it is now, about 2,500 people.
Oh.
So we have, the village hasn't grown hugely as a result of the railway or anything else. But on the other hand, it hasn't declined either, which so many villages have. And of course Tisbury did lose its industry, such as it was, when light industry, I suppose, when Parmitter's closed, which was in fact very important to the station because, as we all know today, the Parmitter's site is the far side of the railway line at the station, and it's looked dreadful since they closed in about 2000. I think it closed.
Yes.
And one of the negative points I've made in this chapter is that it really should be sorted out, and that site should not look like it does.
No. Yeah. So what does your chapter focus on?
Well, I was writing this in the company of some very knowledgeable people, mostly blokes, I might say, who know all about trains in the mechanical sense, and certainly would know all about the history around here. And there is a wonderful book by Nicholas and Reeve called Main Line to the West, which includes all the factual information you might want. So I didn't want to dwell on that too much. I just put in enough, I hope. And then I wanted to look at the people who've been involved, who are involved today, like the wonderful Sarah, who works at the station.
Yes.
I made the mistake of calling Sarah the station manager, and she hastily had to correct me and say that she wasn't. She was a senior ticket clerk or something like that. But I just felt to us she is like the station manager. She's the one person there, and she interprets her job very broadly. She makes sure the waiting room looks great. She's helped my daughter and two little ones onto the train by getting the ramp out.
Yeah.
So she shuts the ticket office, goes out, puts the ramp
That's
up.
it.
It's wonderful.
So it's really people you've focused on?
Well, yes, partly.
Yes.
Partly.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've had to summarise the history.
Of the whole village, or just of the railway station?
Of the station.
Okay.
And, I was trying to imagine what it was like when that train came down from Salisbury on the very first day in 1859, and what it must have been like. I was thinking of the school kids over in Stubbles. When the first train came round the corner from Chicksgrove, it must have been really an amazing sight for people.
And sound, because of course it was a steam train.
Yes, that's right, puffing and panting along the track.
Yes.
I did also read it somewhere, some little anecdote, that there was a sort of Pullman type carriage at some point in the 20th century, in the railway's history. I think it was called the Devon Bell, and apparently Tom Corp, who was then the school teacher, used to take all the kids across to the station to see this beautiful railway carriage when it came through.
Right, who was of course Felicity Corp's father.
Felicity's father, yes.
And we were talking about Felicity recently on TisTalk, because she sadly died quite recently, but she also played a role in keeping Tisbury Station open, I think, when the beaching cuts happened.
Well, I have to say, I was not able to find out anything. I've heard several suggestions about why it might have been kept open, because beaching, was it 64, did suggest that it should close.
Yes.
And it was extremely fortunate that it didn't.
Mm.
And an awful, on either side of us, Semley closed, and Dinton, Wilton. Well, I heard a rumour that it was something that might have been to do with the fact that Anthony Eden used the station. Because he lived over at Alverdiston, didn't he?
So how can we get hold of a copy of this book, Anne?
Well, it's published by the Blackmore Vale Community Rail Partnership. And they have produced this book and are making it available. To the Tisbury History Society has got a number to sell, and we can keep the income from that. So that's great.
Okay.
And they're asking £14.95, and it's a large book, and it's absolutely full of photographs.
Yes, it's lovely. I'm just looking at it here, full of colour photos.
Yeah. So that it's the whole stretch from Salisbury to Yeovil.
Okay. And if people can't get it at the History Society, they can go on the website.
Yes, I would imagine so. I mean, it's only literally come out this week.
Thank you very much, Anne.
Thank you.
And I was going to give you that website, but it turns out that the chapter and the book is so new that it's not actually on the Blackmore Vale Rail Partnership's website. So the best thing to do is to apply to Tisbury History Society.
This is TisTalk from Tisbury, Wiltshire.
Now, have you got the creative urge to paint or write or sing or make music or compose a song? This next item might be of interest to you, especially if you're over 65. Right, I'm up at the Nadder Centre with Rebecca Seymour, who is from Celebrating Age Wiltshire, and she's starting something called Creative Conversations here. So tell us more, Rebecca.
Okay, thanks, Mary. We at Celebrating Age Wiltshire, which is a county-wide project, it's been running since 2017. We've got the opportunity to run these series of weekly workshops for older people, roughly age 65 plus, to find their inner creative spirit. Maybe it's something that they did a long time ago and they want to pick it back up again, or maybe it's just an opportunity to try something new. You're never too old to try something new, as they say. But we've got funding from Arts Council England to put on these creative conversations. And so we're starting one at the Nadder Centre in Tisbury on Wednesday afternoons. And it starts on the 15th of April and will run for 12 weeks. So that's every Wednesday afternoon from 2:30 till 4, starting on the 15th of April and going through to the 1st of July.
Okay, so it sounds quite exciting and maybe a bit different. So what can people expect when they turn up?
So it's led by a professional artist facilitator.
Okay, not you?
No, not me. I'm the what's called the creative producer of the whole project. So I work all around Wiltshire, but we're working with artists who are reasonably local to Tisbury, because that's one of the things that we try and do is we employ local artists. So the way that the 12 weeks work is that there's one facilitator artist that starts the project off and does 4 weeks, and then they hand over to another artist and they deliver 4 weeks, and then another artist delivers 4 weeks. So within your 12-week series, you get to work with 3 different professional creative artists.
Okay, in different media?
Yes. So that's what's exciting, is that we're working with a really great mixture of not just visual art, which sometimes when we talk about art, people think immediately of paintings or ceramics or pictures, but we're actually working with a professional singer-songwriter, Louise, and she will be working with the group, and they together will decide on the subject matter that they want to write a song about, or maybe more than one song. Don't worry, you don't have to sing. It's about writing those words. And then Louise is super talented with her guitar or her piano. She works out with the group the sort of music that they want it to sound like, and they put the words to the song, and then she records it, and it sounds wonderful. And also the songs songs that they manage to produce will go into Louise's repertoire, so that when she performs in different places and different venues in her own concert tours, she can say, I wrote this song with the Tisbury Creative Conversations group, so it will go further.
And is she the first artist?
She is, yes. So Louise is kicking off.
Right.
But the first session on the 15th of April, we've just said, why don't people just come along and try it and just meet Louise and see if they enjoy it. So don't expect to write a whole song on the first session, but Louise will be working for 4 weeks. Then they'll move on to meet a creative writer who used to be a journalist, and she has various freelance work, but she writes poetry and prose and text. So people will be working with Dawn Gorman to see what sort of thing they want to write. They could write something collectively as a group, or you could write something individually. And then finally, there's also Tamsin Loveday, who is a creative artist from the Salisbury area. She's a bookbinder by trade as well, but she does all sorts of lovely visual creative artwork, and she'll work with the group on what they decide that they want to make.
I see.
And the key thing is that there's a really strong ownership for the group. So it's not just the artist coming in and saying, we're going to do this. Obviously, they have their own specialisms, but there's the conversations part of the creative conversations is that they talk and they decide together what it is they want to do. And then those facilitators allow it to happen.
I see.
And the conversation that happens while you're being creative is also what's important. So the idea of this group is that if people fancy meeting a few new people, maybe you live on your own, or maybe you just want to get out of the house a bit more and meet a few new people, or join up with people you already know but you haven't seen for a while. And the idea is that when you're working and doing the creative activity, you chat, and there's lots of lovely conversation that happens as well, and people make friends.
So is it free?
Yes.
That's good.
Because it's completely funded. There are 3 different funds that I should say thank you to. One is Wiltshire Council's area board funding for health and well-being, and that's the South West Wiltshire, because Tisbury sits in South West Wiltshire area, so they've supported it. Obviously, Arts Council England have given us a grant to do these creative conversation groups around the county, and also we're funded by the National Lottery as well.
Right, yeah. So tell us, how does this differ from efforts that are already happening here in Tisbury? Because I think you're in touch with the memory group already.
Yes, I know Anne-Marie very well from the memory group, and I've talked to her about it. And I think the key thing is that the memory group has a focus on people living with dementia and their carers.
Yes, of course.
And this Creative Conversations is for any mature, it can be people who are still working as long as they're in their 60s, or retired people. But that's not to say that people, say, for example, with mild dementia, might also want to come to the Creative Conversations groups with their carer or with their loved one or whatever. And we welcome those people as well. So Anne-Marie is promoting it with the memory group. But it's not, the Creative Conversations isn't specifically for people living with dementia. It's for all older, mature people who'd like to do something creative.
And then there's also a group here at the Nadder Centre meeting already, isn't there, a fitness thing?
There's Age UK Fitness and Friendship meet here, but obviously that has a different focus. It is a friendship, chat group, but they also do some exercise. So yes, that's very much more sort of exercise and sport movement based, whereas this is a creative arts group that looks at various art forms, but not physical exercise.
Okay, yes. Is it something you can dip in and out of? It's not like a course that you have to complete, is that?
It's not a course that you need to complete, as in you get a certificate or an award at the end. But we do recommend that people come to as many sessions as they can, because to benefit from the group, you need to attend the sessions. But that's why we've put on our publicity, why not come along and try the first session? Because then you can see if it's for you, and then, we can sign you up, as it were. But there's no payment involved. So, for example, if you had a doctor's appointment on a Wednesday afternoon at that particular time 1 week, that's not a problem at all. So the group is a maximum of 15. So it won't be a huge group, because then the artist facilitator can really focus on working with those 15 people. But if there's only 6 people there, that's absolutely fine as well. So we would run the group however many people attend, but we have a maximum of 15, so you don't feel overwhelmed with too many people.
So how do people sign up?
Well, on the publicity, there's my work phone number, which I'll give you now, which is 07955 249 288. And you can just ring me. If I don't answer the phone because I'm part-time, I'll just leave a message with your number and I can come back to you. Or you can email me, and because Celebrating Age Wiltshire is sort of housed, even though it's a project, it's housed within Age UK Wiltshire, my email address is Rebecca, that's REBECCA, .Seymour, SEYMOUR, at ageukWiltshire.org.uk. But we're also suggesting that people don't have to ring and book, they don't have to sign up, they can just come along to the first session, which is at the Nadder Centre in Tisbury on the 15th of April. It's from 2:30 till 4, and that first session, everybody will be new and everybody will be coming along to try the first session. So you're very welcome to, you don't have to ring up and book, you can just come along to the first session.
Thank you very, very much. And those dates and timings again?
So that's every Wednesday afternoon from 2:30 till 4, starting on the 15th of April and going through to the 1st of July.
This is TisTalk from Tisbury, Wiltshire.
And now here's Christabel Watts back with the What's On listings.
Here's what's on in Tisbury and surrounding villages from Monday the 13th of April to Sunday the 19th of April 2026. On Monday the 13th, Tisbury Footpath Maintenance Team will meet at 9:30 a.m. to improve footpaths locally. You don't have to be a member of the Footpath Club to join them. If you want to take part, contact Roger Walker on 07891 442 664. There will be a Tisbury Carnival meeting at 7 p.m. in Victoria Hall. Please pop along and see what you can do to help with the Carnival in September. The Hindon annual parish meeting will take place at Hindon Village Hall at 7 p.m. This is a public meeting to hear updates, celebrate the past year's achievements, and share ideas for the year ahead with nibbles and light refreshments. On Tuesday the 14th, Tisbury History Society are meeting at 7:30 p.m. in Hinton Hall with a presentation on how Georgian houses worked, heat, light and drains. On Wednesday the 15th, at 9:30 a.m. the Tisbus outing will depart for Dorchester Market. Call coordinator Dave Milas on 07500 802 525 to book your seat. The Tisbury Memory Group will be meeting in Hinton Hall from 10 till 12 with singing and possibly some dancing. Tisbury Gardening Club will visit Castle Gardens at Sherborne, meeting at 2:30 p.m. for refreshments and an introduction to seasonal stock, followed by a wander around the garden centre. Age UK's creative conversation sessions begin this week at the Nadder Centre from 2:30 till 4 p.m. and ongoing Wednesday afternoons until July. Free and open to anyone aged 65 plus for discussions on various creative topics and the chance to try writing words, songs and creating your own artwork. The Fonthill Park Cricket Club have their first match of the season, an away game against the Montague Inn Cricket Club starting at 6 p.m. On Thursday the 16th, the monthly Wiltshire Site Hub Advice and Social Group will be at the Nadder Centre. You can drop in between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. for the friendly social group, and you can also book an appointment with an advisor between 11 a.m. and 12 p.m. by calling 01380 723 682. A football session for 10 to 15-year-olds runs weekly from 4:30 to 5:30 p.m. at the Nadder Centre. It costs £3 for members and £4 for non-members. No need to book. Then on Friday the 17th, Fox and King Bookshop have an event with Liz Earle at Gardner and Beadle Shop from 6:30 to 8 p.m. ahead of the publication of her new book, How to Age. £25 a ticket, including a signed copy of the book and a glass of wine. On Saturday the 18th, the Tisbury Footpaths Club spring outing to Marlborough will take place from 8:50 a.m. till 6 p.m, starting at the Nadder Centre car park to share cars. To join the outing, please let Roger Walker know by text or phone. The monthly community cafe breakfast will run from 9:30 a.m. till 12 p.m. at the Methodist Church, with pastries and cake and space to play and chat. The country market will be on at Victoria Hall from 10 till 11 a.m. with a selection of local produce. Young Nature Watch have an egg hunt, not the chocolate kind, from 2 till 4 p.m. at Warmead Farm with Wiltshire Ornithological Society. Email youngtnhs@gmail.com if you're interested in attending. Also on Saturday, there will be a concert for Ukraine, Songs of War and Peace at St John's Church, Tisbury at 7 for 7:30 p.m, with a recital by the American soprano Alyssa Edwards and pianist Chris Headland, performance of Ukrainian poetry, a glass of Ukrainian wine and wine tasting. Tickets £20 on the door. A National Theatre live recording of All My Sons will be shown at Victoria Hall at 7:30 p.m. Go to newvictisbury.com for details and tickets. On Sunday the 19th, Tisbury tourers meet at 9:30 a.m. at Hinton Hall car park to head up Gold Hill in Shaftesbury. Contact Rob on 07771 620 199 to join the WhatsApp group with the route. The film The Choral with local lad Ray Fiennes will be shown from 4 till 6 p.m. at Victoria Hall, fundraising for Tisbury Carnival. Find tickets on their website, tisburycarnival.co.uk. And that's all for the What's On listings. Have a great week.
And to round off the show, here's Hannah Good.
This is a poem written by my friend John as a response to the poem that I read last week called Against Fear. This is a poem called Calm Within the Storm. The bear roars fierce through swirling wind, through fire and fury that has thinned the space between the rage and peace, and chooses calm as its release. Growth is not the absence of the storm that you are thinking of. It's not escaping what you feel. It's not pretending hurt's not real. Growth is standing in the rage of every tempest, every stage of chaos that your mind creates, and choosing calm before the gates. The bear stands in its own wild storm, surrounded by the swirling form of everything that tries to break and finds the calm that it can make. You cannot stop the storm outside, you cannot make the fury hide, but if you can choose, the way you stand can find your calm and hold your hand.
Within the chaos, within the fire, within the pain and deep desire to run away or break apart, you can choose calm within your heart. This is growth, not gaining strength to weather storms at any length, but learning how to be the still within the tempest of your will. The spirals spin around the bear, the orange flames fill everywhere, but at its centre, in its core, lives something calm worth waiting for. So when your storm begins to rage, when you're trapped inside the cage of overwhelming feelings might, remember you can choose your side. Choose to be the calm inside. Choose to be the steady guide. Choose to be the quiet place where peace can find a resting space. Growth is this, the choice to be the eye of your own storm, free from needing outer calm to stay from waiting for a clearer day. The bear roars not from loss of peace, but as its powerful release, and in that roar it still contains the calm that through the chaos reigns. So grow by being both, the storm and calm, the fury and the warm, the chaos and the steady breath, the life that holds both rage and death. And find that in your deepest core, where nothing can disturb you more, you hold the power to decide to be the calm that won't subside.
Lovely poem. Thank you very much, Hannah. So that's all from this episode of TisTalk. See you next week, and next week I'll be presenting with Kate Gam. Bye-bye.